Enjoy this sneak peek of my business planning and goal setting process. Let's do this. Hi, everyone. Marriott Martinez here, and I'd like to give you a glimpse of the reflection and the pre planning I do before I go into my full business planning and goal setting each year. I usually do this in a written journal, and I still do, but I'm also going to be implementing doing this in my Notion starting as of the end of this year, 2023. And I'm also going to continue to do the work that I do using Asana. So here's your opportunity to see behind the scenes on how this process looks like for me. When I begin closing out my year and planning for the next year, first I work on setting my heart and my mind right. And I do that through 5 reflection questions. And each question is really important for me to go deeper into my year, to reflect in my year, and then that will help me decide where I want to focus for the next year. The first question is, what were your biggest lessons from that year? So these could be wins, things that were celebrations that I'm excited about. They could have been learned, things that I learned from, and all of that brought in a lesson that I want to take with me going forward. The next question will be, what is something that I am proud of? So this is probably some of my top wins, my top projects, my top milestones for the year, and I really want to celebrate them. When I move into the second question, it also allowed me to get in a feeling of abundance and celebration, and also give myself some grace when I go back and I look at my year and I can really see how far I've come. I can do this by looking at my Google Calendar and see what I accomplished that year, or if I have a project management tool, I can go back and see the projects that I went ahead and completed for that year. My third question is, what is something you want to do differently next year? So by this point, I've already thought through some big lessons of the year, some wins and some learns, and I've also given myself the opportunity to celebrate the year. So then now I can really get straightforward with myself, and I can be honest and say what worked and what didn't and what I would like to do differently. So here I'm just being really open-minded about some things that I'd like to do differently. In my fourth question, I am going deeper and really asking myself, so what really worked well and what do I want to keep doing? So based on my year, what did work really well? What projects really just blew my mind? What humans was I really excited to collaborate with? What was an awesome client experience or a new project experience? And if it went so well, I probably want to keep on doing that. And the last question is incredibly important, and that is to ask myself, what didn't work so well? Allow myself to be okay with that, to learn from that experience, accept the learning from that experience, but most importantly, to release it for next year. So I don't need to keep that going. I can get some closure from whatever that situation was, and I can release any type of fear or doubt or resentment or even disappointment from that, and I can move on to next year. After I've done this deeper exploration, then I can continue to work on my goals. That's a completely deeper process in regards to setting my goals. So first, I wanted to share with all of you this practice of asking yourself these deeper questions. And then next, I can share with you how I turn these into goals. Lastly, I wanted to let you know that you can also do this in another project management tool like Asana. And I do the same thing by pretty much just creating a task in my Asana, and I go ahead and ask myself the same questions. I do that because I also use Asana to break out all of my goals in detail. So those are the 2 ways that I go ahead and start planning and goal setting for the year. Hope that was helpful.